Hello everyone, Jonathan here again. Welcome to the 300 Foot Arm. I promised to give you a little bag check on my official Discraft sponsorship for the first quarter of this year. So here it is. Let's check out what I'm throwing. So everything that's in this bag I pretty much already had in my stash of extras. There's one or two extra ones I had to get to fill in some gaps. So let's take a look at what I've built in here as far as my bag goes. So I'm going to start off with mid-ranges / throwing putters. I don't throw a whole lot of mid-ranges, so from most stable to most understable. First off, I've got an ESP Zone. This was one that was a KC Wide Open stamp one that I wiped. It's not as stable as the Gator I was used to, but I think it's going to do the trick. Next, I actually have a Ledgestone TI Flex Roach. This is a great throwing putter. And it's not as stable as the Zone, but it's got quite a bit of stability to it, and it's a good throwing putter. I have a ESP Buzz, because everybody's supposed to have a Buzz. It actually is a super straight mid-range, and I really enjoy throwing this one too. Now, this one is an old school from 2008. It's from the first tournament I ever played in. It's got a Twisted Tour stamp on it. It's an ESP Meteor, and this thing is flippy. You can hyzer flip it to make it even still flip more, and it's great to hold turnover lines for me that I can't get a lot of snap on it, which is a pretty cool utility disc. A lot of glide to it as well. Right on. Okay, so I'm going to go into Fairway Drivers then next. So I've got 6 Fairway Drivers in here. Going from the most stable to understable, I've got a Z Predator. This thing is beefy. I actually really like the way it's got the little micro bead. I can snap it for backhand hyzers or for flex shots if I want to. So Z Predator. For next, because the Predator isn't all that great for sidearm shots, for forehands, I've got a Paul Ulibarri Tour Series ESP Swirly Raptor. This thing is just got a better forehand grip. It's a little less stable than the Predator, but really not much. They're very close to the same disc for me. One's for forehands, one for backhands. All right, I just picked this up. This is a Z Vulture, and to be completely honest, have not thrown this yet. I hear it's supposed to be kind of like a Thunderbird. I got it on the advice of Isaac Heinen, and when the weather turns a little bit better and I find time to actually get out to a course and play again, I'm looking forward to trying this thing out. It feels really nice, so hopefully it does what I would like it to do. And it was meant to fill that gap between the Predator and the Z Undertaker. This thing just goes straight. The little tiny bit of hyzer finish, but it doesn't really like the wind much. And this is a little bit of a lighter one too. It's a 168, 169-ish. So Z Undertaker. Very similar disc. Got my Isaac Heinen stamped Z Mantis. Flies a lot like the Undertaker, with a little bit slower speed to it and a little bit less hyzer finish. Eventually when this beats up, I think it's going to be a good hyzer flip to straight for me, and maybe even a little bit of turnover. Alright, and then finally I have an ESP Heat. This thing is real flippy, kind of uncontrollable. I'm not quite sure how to use it yet, except for in a tailwind. I don't throw rollers well, but maybe this is something I can try and learn with. Alright, to distance drivers. Let's reverse the order. Go from flippiest to most stable. I've got a Z-Lite Nuke SS. This thing is real flippy for tailwinds only, and get a nice full flight of my 350 odd backhand distance out of it. For regular big distance drives, I've got a TI Nuke. These Nukes actually feel pretty good. The way that my fingers fit in them, I can get a lot of snap up. Once this rip beats in, I think it's going to be pretty nice. I got a Z Flex Thrasher. This thing I got from Dan Perkins, used. It's a lot flippier than I thought it was going to be. So I don't know if it's going to stay in my bag or not. We'll see. I got a Paul Macbeth Kong Zeus, whatever you want to call it. It's one of the prototype ones. I got this one from Mr. Bolton, Eric Bolton himself. So this one actually for forehands for distance flies really nice, and for tailwind forehand shots. I don't use it all that much for backhands. I prefer the nukes for that just because the grip is a little bit better, but every once in a while I'll throw a backhand too. For forehand and backhand stable shots, I've got this Red Z Force. This thing is money. I lost one of these already, and I need to find another backup. These I think are in my bag regardless of throwing Discraft or not. They are sweet. I can get a lot of backhand power on them, and you can just really crank on them sidearm as well. You get a lot of good distance out of it. It reminds me of a PD2, but someone like me can throw it backhand as well as forehand. So awesome, Red Z Force. I've got an ESP Force that's a little lighter that is for some reason way more stable than the red one. So this is, you know, headwind shots. It's going to be for spike hyzers or, you know, spike forehand shots too. Sweet KC Wide Open stamp. Nice swirly, bright pink ESP Force. And as far as putters go, actual putting putters, I've got a Special Blend Luna. This is, I don't know what run of this one is, but it's pretty straight, little flippy almost. This is my approach putter if I don't want it to slide or go anywhere. And it is also my outside of the circle putter as well. For my everyday putters, I've got two, the only non-Discraft but molded by Discraft discs in my bag. I've got the Steady and Beadless edition, and they're really cool swirly blue ones. I don't know which one is which. I pick them up, rotate them, putt with them. They're a little softer. They're D-line, but they're softer than what I would normally use. I was putting with the P-line P2s previously, but they feel similar. They go in the basket, and I'm digging them. So, yeah. Been carrying this grip BX2, the new ones. Really solid, really comfortable bag. I switched from the Ridge Roller because I just wasn't using the cart and it was a little too heavy. I don't really use a stool that much or sit down all that much, so this is the bag that I'm carrying. All right, that's my bag check for my Discraft bag. If you have any questions or suggestions on what I should be throwing, feel free to shoot me a message on Facebook, Instagram, leave a comment on the YouTube page. And if I make any changes, I'll throw some updates in the 300 Foot Arms Show, which should have a new episode coming out next week, talking about February happenings in the disc golf scene. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you all soon. And don't forget to get out there and keep on discing.